Hello, bonjour. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching my video, and special thanks for those who subscribe to my channel. This video will be about the game called Battlegroup, and it will be called Battlegroup Training Part 2, Building Your Force. So we're going to start to build my small force for training. It's going to be at the squad level, and I decided to choose 250 points. So here it's going to be just to give you an overview of the army list, how it works, and how you achieve building your forces. So I'm not an expert into that. I'm going to just show you the mechanic here, I hope, and with a good understanding. So for that, what I advise you to have is, at the end of any book, you will find a battle group organization chart. Just print one, or make one on paper with your pen and pencil, or whatever you need to write. And from there, write every unit you take, the number of points it costs, and also how many battle rating we receive by buying this team. For this video, I'm going to use from the book Overlord, the German Infantry Division Battle Group, starting at page 202. So let's look at the infantry requirement table. So what it is important to look is what would be the max infantry unit I can choose at the squad level, because I'm going to build a force of 250 points. It's a squad level according to battle group. So when you look at the infantry requirement table, HO for a squad level, the maximum point is 350. You are allowed to have restricted unit of a maximum of 2. We'll talk through the video and we'll see what is a restricted unit. All infantry is minimum of 1 squad, so whatever you build a force on battle group to play, you must have at least 1 squad of infantry in your forces. You can have all the rest tank, but you need a minimum of 1 squad of infantry. For the squad level, you will need a maximum, or you have the possibility to have a maximum of 1 platoon. So that's the idea, is you have a minimum and a maximum of infantry on the table, and the rest should be support or other frontline forces. Let's talk about the army list. The army list is organized in 10 different types of unit. You get a frontline asset, that means the one frontline making the fight, and you get the support that help your frontline unit to conduct battle or even participate into the battle. It's really important to understand that to win, you're going to need the frontline unit assault, like infantry, tank, artillery, but also don't diminish the fact the support unit will be there. You may have as many tanks as you want on the front line, but if you cannot support the tank, meaning refuel, rearm, then your unit will become stalled right there on their track when they run out of ammunition. So it's really important to make a balance when you create your forces. Might not be as important on the squad level because it's meant to be a small game, but as you get bigger and bigger and on your battlefield, those support units will be as important, if not more important, than your front infantry or tank unit. So with the German Infantry Division Battle Group, the forward headquarters unit, that's the first of a frontline asset. And what it says is forward headquarters unit. Each unit taken from forward headquarters allow a support choice from either logistic or additional fire support. Really important here. This is a small force, so the 250 points, I don't really need them, so I would not take any of them. But when you look here, what you can see is forward headquarters is in the box, wire team in a box, forward signal unit in a box, comms, motorcycle dispatch, all in a box. So that means they are 1 unit each. If I pick any of those units, that means I would be able to take 1 support unit from the logistic group or additional fire support. But I cannot take, if I take a forward headquarters, when it's time to choose my support unit, and I have only a forward headquarters unit, I cannot take reconnaissance for example, or engineer. I can only take one logistic or one additional fire support. So each time you take one, you have the choice to take one unit in support. But I won't take any from the forward headquarters unit. So time to look at the infantry units. What it said underneath is each unit taken from infantry allows the support or a support choice from reconnaissance, engineer, or specialist unit. So if I choose an infantry unit, I'll be able to get one unit from the reconnaissance or the engineer or the specialist unit. So here at this level, that I decide to pick a grenadier platoon, it's one block, as you can see on the page. So they are all part of one unit. That I pick them or not, it's not really important here. So if I decide, using my battle group organization chart, I decide to take a full grenadier platoon. So I will mark under infantry, grenadier platoon, 100 point, 11 battle rating, and they are regular force. If I choose the platoon, I will be able to take 4 to a maximum of 4 support units. So platoon support options are heavy machine gun, combat medic, light mortar team, Panzerschreck, medium armor, medium mortar, and tank and infantry gun. And I cannot take 2 or 3 or 4 mortar team, medium mortar team, for example. Only one of each to a maximum of 4. So I pick grenadier platoon, so a full platoon. What I get for a full platoon? I get the unit command squad, 6 soldiers. So I'm going to go and place 6 soldiers as my command squad. As you can see, you have them. I have them on a small base because I play Flames of War. So my command and Flames of War are 3 teams on the one block. So this is why they are 3 and 3. So I have my 6 unit team. I can have them also placed individually, one at a time, and I have 6. So when it's time to move, I have to move 6. In this case, I move only 2, and I got my 6 guys moving. So I got my command. What they allow me is that officer also act as an officer and a mortar spotter. So we have need, if I choose to have a mortar team, they would be able to direct fire for the mortar team that would be behind. So they can see the enemy and call for a mortar team to attack any enemy point. If I choose for 4 points, I can have them with a medium truck or heavy car. I will not take that. I can also choose to have them with a Panzerfaust. For 5 points, I would not do that. So here's my command team. Also, I have 3 grenadier squad. Each unit is 5 men. So I have a plate with 4 guys, and I decide to bring a 5th one unique by itself. For 5 points, I can have a Panzerfaust, and for 4 points, medium truck. I will not have any vehicle for this game, so I'm going to just, for 5 points, have a Panzerfaust. So I got my 5 guys with Panzerfaust, and it's 3 times of that. So I got my next team, my next platoon, not platoon, they call that squad, and my last squad, 5 points as well, and 5 guys. We're going to just put them aside. You can all see that. So we're building that. Also, from the same grenadier platoon, I have three MG team. Unit composed 3 men with a bipod MG34. I can choose to have the MG34 changed for MG42, so I will have a bigger firepower. But I keep the MG34 in place. So 3 teams with MG34. So it's 1 team of 2, 3. So I got my 3 team. I have to say, I stopped to make painting when I decided a month ago, so that's why I have those small teams. My leftover infantry team, soldier, I decided to paint them, put them on the ball, on the base to play Battlegroup. So here's my 3 MG team. I decided not to have any other support. I will keep my point for tank, artillery, or any support unit later on. Also, as you can see, you get the host infantry platoon. So it's 63 points for a full platoon compared to the 100 point. It costs 5 battle rating instead of 11. But they are untrained, so newbie. So they're going to be easier to be destroyed. Also, better chance to have morale check against them because they don't know what's happening on the battlefield. You can also choose a grenadier squad by itself. You get that option for 26 points. But to choose a grenadier squad by itself, I have a limit of 1 platoon. So by choosing a full platoon, I reach my limit of infantry. But because I choose infantry unit, I can have 1 unit of reconnaissance, or 1 unit of engineer, or 1 unit of specialist units. Next, tank unit. Each unit taken from tank allows a support choice from 1 reconnaissance, engineer, logistic, or specialist unit, but only 1 unit for that. So support unit, because I have 1 infantry, I can choose 1 support unit so far. If I choose a tank unit, I'll be allowed to have 1 more support unit available for me. So I have the choice of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units in the tank unit, meaning I can have a little Stug 3 Stug 3G, a Panzer 4 by itself, alone, 1 Panther, a Stug 3 with only 1 Stug, and self-propelled anti-tank gun. And I can choose 1 of each. In that case, they are marked restricted, so I can only have 1 of those to a maximum of 2 restricted units. I decide to have 1 Panzer 4. That's for training, so I decide to spend 1 Panzer 4, 50 points, and I choose Panzer 4J. So I choose a Panzer 4J. What are the stats for the Panzer 4J? And why I did not choose a Panzer 4H? It's 6 more points. So my Panzer 4J is 50 points, 3 battle rating, and they are regular force. The 4H is 56 points. What's the difference there? To help you to understand that, you have to go to the German equipment at the end of the book. You can see the list of all Panzer 4 model. So you go and look at the Panzer 4J. And then just underneath, you get the Panzer 4H. And when you look at it, you got his movement. You have, after that, his armor. And that's where the difference is between the J and the H. The H have a little bit more front armor. In this case, it's not really important. The importance is how to use the tank, so I decide to use the J. After that, you have the armament. So it shows you have a gun, a 75 mm L43. So it's a long barrel, 1943. It's a long barrel, 43 inch from barrel 43. That's the length of the gun, if I remember right. I can be wrong there. And it said you have 9 rounds. Because Battlegroup, one of the quality of that game, I can say, is you can fire so many, and then you run out of ammunition. You need to have support, so mean to have vehicles that come and resupply your tank. So we know we have 9 rounds. You can choose, in that game you can also choose how many HE, AP you have in your tank. That's why your paper and pen become handy, so you can write how many HE, how many AP. That's a choice you have to think as a crew commander of your tank. What would be likely the enemy in front of you? If it is infantry, you need HE. If it is other tank or vehicle, you need AP. So if you choose only HE, you won't be able to destroy the tank, but you can do a carnage to the infantry. If you choose AP only on your tank, then your tank will not be efficient against the infantry. So it's a balance that to you, the commander, what you need. Now, if you choose AP, you need to go with what is the armor penetration for that gun. So, you know, if you fight against a Sherman tank, what is the quality or what has the chance to destroy that tank? So for that, you have to go down lower in the German equipment table until you reach the gun section. From there, you look at your 75mm L43, and when you find that gun, you can see HE with the armor penetration table and also the armored penetration table for the AP. It would be useful, so when you're going to use the table for armor penetration against your opponent, it will give you the left numbers would be the strength or the force of your gun. So how much it can punch a hole into the armor of your enemy. So we will be more in detail when it's time to shoot against each other's tank later on in a subsequent video. But that's the idea. When you build your force, you have to consider all those points when you decide how many points you choose. So far I took 165 points with 14 battle rating. Let's look at the artillery unit. For each unit I can pick from the artillery. I'll be able to take 1 additional fire support. We'll see additional fire support. So far I can take few units, and this is 1 support unit I can take, 1 artillery additional fire support. I look again at the page, and you can see forward observer team. So that allows you to be an artillery spotter. So if I decide to pick any artillery piece here, like towed artillery gun, I need an artillery spotter to tell them, direct them, fire to the enemy. My platoon commander of my infantry can only spot for mortar. So if I want to have someone direct fire for the artillery, I need to take the forward observer team. But I decide I'm going to go with every mortar team. I will go not every mortar team, but what I mean, I will go for a mortar team, and for that I have the choice between off-table mortar fire and every mortar team on the table. There's no difference except one is off the table and one is on the table subject to get shot at. I decide to choose off-table mortar fire. One battery is 2 80mm mortar for 54 points, or 2 120mm mortar for 72 points. Now again, it's a question of what is the quality of the mortar to have a chance to hit and destroy your opponent. For training purpose, I'm gonna, and also because I have only 250 points, I decide to take 2 80mm mortar team, 54 points, and there's 0 battle rating. The reason for 0 battle rating is because it's off the table, so it's not subject to be destroyed, and force me to take a battle rating because I lost a unit. If you compare that to the heavy mortar team, it's 29 points and 1 battle rating because it's on the table. So for 58 points, I will add 220 mortar team to be able to do my job compared to the 280 mm mortar, 54 points. But because it would be 2 heavy mortar team I pick, I have to provide 2 orders to have them both fired. So I decide off-table mortar fired, 280 mm mortar, 54 points, 0 battle rating. So here's 1 and 2. Here's on my 2 team. Now it's time to look at defense. Each unit taken from defense allows no support choice. So what you pick here doesn't give you the possibility to get recon, engineer, anything special unit, etc. You pick them and they are on the table. So there's 2 choices. I will not go through that. You can read them. You can pause and read about it. But that's the choice. I don't play defense. We're going to play just encounter, so attack, counter-attack. No defense chosen. But you can take those, and they come with point, battle rating, and can be restricted. Like command bunker, it's restricted. And at that level of my squad, if I was playing defense, it would be maximum of 2 restricted unit, and the command bunker would be one of them if I decide to take that one. So I don't take any defense. We're going to go and pass. So now, my support unit. The first choice is the reconnaissance support unit. If you remember, when I picked my infantry, I had the choice between 1 reconnaissance unit, 1 engineer, or 1 specialist unit. But only 1 team for my, because I took only 1 infantry unit. So I decided I would pick 1 reconnaissance support unit. And for that, I choose to take 1 sniper. It costs 10 points. It has 1 battle rating. And it's a veteran soldier, so he's a good fighter. I can add a spotter with him. And what it will do, it will increase the range of view. So if I remember right, I might be wrong, but I think it's 20 inches. And if I take a spotter, I can go to 30 inches in range. Or it's 30 and I can go to 40, but I think it's 20 to 30. Just check it out. I'm just going that, learning, so I might be wrong there. But I think what for sure is the spotter will increase the range by another 10 inches. So I'm going to put my spotter right here, 10 points. So now I'm at 229 points and 15 battle rating. I still have 21 points available. My tank unit gives me also the opportunity to pick up from support. So I can choose 1 unit from reconnaissance, engineer, logistic, or specialist unit. In this case, if I think that the battle will stay longer, it would become really important to have resupply, so I will go with logistic, and I will take 1 truck or 1 carriage with horse to bring ammunition to my tank. But at the squad level, I'm going to stick with another reconnaissance support unit. I'm allowed to have 1 for my infantry and 1 for my tank. So in this case, I decide to choose an armored car. So when you look at it, armored car, special rule is a scout, mortar spotter. So on top of that, I can put somewhere else on the battlefield compared to my officer. So they can be separate. And he can provide me to direct fire to a mortar team. So this is my vehicle. It's the SDK FZ 222. It's 20 point. The regular force and is 1 battle rating. So that will bring me to 249 point and 16 battle rating. So my maximum is 250 point. So you can see my little force for training right here on the table. Now, to look at the armament of the 222, the same principle than the Panzer IV. You go to the armament table, you look at to find the SDKFZ 222. It will show you the distance you can travel, the armor, and the armament. When you look at the armament, you have a 20 mm L55 gun. So then you go in the gun section and you can see how many rounds, and if you shoot HE or AP, and what is the armor penetration point given to that gun. Now, engineer support unit. I know I reached my 250 point, but we're going to go through the Army list, engineer support unit. And this you're going to find recovery vehicle. So you can have one recovery vehicle. So if one of your truck, tank, or armored vehicle get destroyed, you can use the recovery vehicle to bring it beside and try to be back on service. So it's a question of rolling the dice. If you roll good enough and you can bring back on service, that means the soldier will go back into the vehicle and continue fighting. Light bridging unit. If you have a river to cross, then you can take the light bridging unit for a certain amount of points. It comes with a bridging equipment to build your bridge. I will not go through that in details. When I read, I'm going to make a video just for the engineer. We'll be able to see that. Heavy bridging unit and assault pioneer squad. That is restricted as well as the heavy bridging unit. So if you have a large river, you may take the heavy bridging unit because it would be able to build the bridge faster to come across. Then you can choose to have a penny assault squad. It performs a bunch of stuff more than any infantry. You can have flamethrower with it, minesweeper, and you can change the MG for MJ42. But you have some restriction about the number of units you can take and support depending how many units you take for fighting. Logistic support unit is your supply. So supply column is 1 unit. You get the forward aid post, stretcher bear party, and the ambulance. So it's all option depending on how many support units you can take that you can choose from the support unit. You have also the specialist support unit. You will find the anti-aircraft, the howitzer, and some Panzerjäger team as well. So mostly, if you want to protect yourself against any incoming airplane, you may take the unit here for that. But again, you have a restriction with support, how many you are allowed to take. And then the last support group is the additional fire support. Only can be taken if you take forward HQ a unit. You have the option to take 1 additional fire support, or if you take any artillery unit, each artillery unit will give you additional fire support. If you request artillery off the table from the German army, so a regimental battery, divisional corps battery, or army battery, you need to take off-table artillery support request. So you pick any of the 3 for a number of points. So when you roll your dice to see if those would support you, that whole group, it's the process. We'll make a video about it. German close air support table. If, for example, you pick from the battle rating pouch one token, and it is bringing aircraft, this is the aircraft table. Also, if you are allowed to additional fire support, I took 2 mortar. From artillery, I would be allowed to take 1. I can decide to take for 15 points a pre-registered target point. It has 0 battle rating, but I have a pre-registered target point. And basically what it means is, when I tell my opponent I have 1 pre-registered target point, I draw a little map on a piece of paper of the battlefield, and I put a X where my pre-registered target point is. So the enemy don't know where it is, but it's marked in advance, so I cannot pick and choose as convenient. I pick where it is on the map here. When it's my turn to play, I can say one of my orders would be to use a pre-registered target point. I show to my opponent where that pre-registered target point is on the table, and I can put the marker for artillery, and I'm going to do artillery fire to that point. More in detail later, but that's the idea of the pre-registered target point. It counts a bit the same principle with time barrage. Is you mark on the map where are those spots, and when it is your turn, according to the narrative of those time barrage, you act in consequence. So that's it for my army list. It's 250 points, squad level. I got infantry, I have mortar, I have reconnaissance, I have tank. So I think I have a bit of everything for continue my training in my subsequent video. So if you have any comments, please leave them below in the comment section. Thank you for watching my video, and see you soon with part 3 of my training in Battlegroup. Bye-bye.